Okay, next up, we're going to have our first ever Innovation Showcase that Mike just talked about a few minutes ago. And the Innovation Showcase, I think, will be hopefully a powerful display of what we can do with the Acquia platform. And this year, we're telling the story from a customer viewpoint. So I had a lot of feedback from Engage past few years. People want to hear more. You want to hear more from customers. You want to hear more examples. You want to see more about what your peers are accomplishing and what business results people are getting from the Acquia platform. So this year, we invented the Innovation Showcase. I hope you're going to love it. It's a nice combination of showing the Acquia platform and having customers join us to talk about what they're accomplishing with the platform. Each customer is highlighted and spotlighted around different areas of our products. So hopefully you'll appreciate and you'll like the different format this year. So the person to lead the Innovation Showcase is Dries. And so at this point, the man probably who needs no introduction, but founder of Drupal, founder of Acquia, CTO as well of Acquia, and I'm happy to please welcome up my friend Dries.
It's about to get crazy. It's about to go down. It's about to get crazy.
Good morning, Austin. How are you all today? Very exciting to be here. I think this is going to be a fun session. I think we have some amazing things to show and announce as well. So thanks for joining us this morning. What I'm going to do today is, as Lynn said, we're going to talk about what we've been doing. We're going to invite customers on the stage. We're also going to show a demo of some of our products and some of the things we've been working on. And then lastly, we'll also talk about our roadmap and sort of reveal some of the things that we have been working on and will be launching in the future. So it should be pretty fun and exciting session for you all. All right. I wanted to start with this slide because I wanted to ground us in Acquia's vision. And I've shown this slide before at previous Engages, and I'll probably show it in the next Engages as well. But as Acquia, our mission, our vision, is to deliver the universal platform for the world's greatest digital experiences. It's been our mission for a while, it's unwavered, and it's what we continue to work on. So everything you'll see in terms of announcements and things that we're going to demo are all rooted in this vision. All right, so the way we do this as Acquia is we want to help our customers with the entire life cycle of a digital experience. We want to help you build, manage, and optimize your digital experiences. And to build, we have a lot of different tools, something that we've been doing for 10 years. Obviously, we have continuous integration, continuous delivery tools. We have local development environments, cloud development environments, all of these things. For manage, we have a cloud delivery platform. I think the best in the world. We have many site management capabilities. We have a lot of features around security and governance and scalability. We'll talk a little bit about that today. Now, lastly, optimize. It's all about getting to know your customers, learning what their intent is, what their preferences are, and then providing you tools to really optimize their journey, to personalize it, to contextualize it, to integrate with different tools, and to bring very unique customer experiences to life. We roughly divide these buckets into two groups. We have the Marketing Hub at the top. We have the Experience Factory at the bottom. And you've seen this slide from Mike, but this is how it maps onto our product stack. Mike already explained this, but you clearly see Drupal and Lightning in the middle. Everything we've built is optimized for Drupal. Everything we do comes with open APIs because we want to fit into your environment, and we want you to be able to integrate with the entire stack, right? And then everything we do comes with the great support that you've come to expect from Acquia. And so that's really our platform. We're going to dive into pieces of the platform throughout this presentation. In terms of our strategy, our product strategy, this year we've been very focused on making our products simpler, making them more scalable, and making them smarter, right? So in the next session, I want to walk you through each of these three topics and tell you a little bit more about how we do that and also show you how we do that. So let's start with simplicity. This is one that I'm actually probably the most passionate about. I think it's a very important thing to make our products simpler. I think there's one lesson that I've actually learned over and over again, and that I've seen over again, is that simplicity wins. It's a very powerful trend. And one of my favorite examples of this trend is actually photography. I'm a hobbyist photographer. And if you look at the first camera, it's the photographic apparatus. This is one of the very first cameras. If you look at the manual, if you will, that came with this camera, there's all these different steps. And you can tell, if you pay attention, there's like multiple people involved, right? And so to take one photo, you have to do all these steps. You have to have multiple people just to take one photo. It's kind of crazy to think about how complex that was. Now, over time, that became easier and easier. This is a photo of the 35mm camera and really helped sort of standardize the development of film, right? So it took complexity out of that process. The Polaroid is another step in that evolution, made it even easier because you didn't have to deal with film. The digital camera, which came next, made it even simpler. And today, obviously, we all have a smartphone. It's right in our pocket. And it allows everyone to take a photo with just one click. And in the same click, you can share it with social media or your friends. And even better, in that same click, we can now apply filters. So all of a sudden, you have like the best photo ever compared to these photos in the past. And so this notion that everybody can now take a photo, can do it in a second at a higher quality than ever before, and instantly share it, is a very powerful example of how simplicity wins. And what's interesting about this is that if you actually look under the hood, if you actually look at what's needed to make a photo like that, it's really hard, right? Like, think about the smartphone. It comes with all these chips and, I don't even know, millions of lines of software. It's really, really hard to make it that simple. And that's also an interesting lesson, right? That we have to make it more complex to make it simpler. And so I want to talk a little bit more about that. The same actually applies to the web. If you think about the original webmaster, that person would write HTML in Notepad and FTP it to a site, right? That was a very complex thing in many ways. It wasn't very accessible to the masses. And content management systems like Drupal effectively replaced a lot of that complexity and sort of democratized the publishing of content online. But under the hood, that CMS is actually a lot more complex than Notepad, you know? And so the same thing applies to complexity. Now, that's a past. Like, if we fast forward, I think there's a huge opportunity for all of us. And that opportunity is to really reimagine our customer experiences, to try and delight our customers by changing the way we interact with them digitally. And to do so, today, that is incredibly complex, right? You have to manage more and more data. You have to manage more and more channels, not just the web, but also mobile and social and voice. All these channels you now have to manage. You have to manage more and more integrations. As Mike mentioned, with all of these different technologies in the marketing technology stack, you have to manage more and larger teams of people, of developers. You have to create more and more content. And so it's actually very complex, just like that original camera. It's very complex to do these things. And so at Acquia, our mission is to remove that complexity, to make it really simple to build these kinds of experiences. That's something that we've been working on. It's something that we're going to work on for many, many more years, I'm sure. And so I want to give you a couple of quick examples of how we do that. First of all, for developers, we have products like Acquia Cloud. We help you deploy code, manage databases. We provide out-of-the-box caching, a security capability. So we try and make it easy, simple for developers to build these kinds of experiences. For marketers, we try to do the same thing. Products like Acquia Lift make it simple to drive engagement, to drive conversions, to create loyalty with your audience, right? We provide you the tools to do that. And finally, for operators, very often organizations need to manage thousands of sites or hundreds of sites, and that's really hard to do. How do you upgrade 1,000 sites? And how do you upgrade that in maybe 30 minutes? when there's a security issue that you need to deal with. And so tools like Site Factory make it really easy for operators to manage these digital experiences at scale. And so one way to think about what we do at Acquia is that we help you manage that complexity, that we help reduce or remove that complexity from your entire digital experience technology stack. And the benefit of that is that you can focus on what you do best, which is building the experiences, so that you can go faster and add more value to your business. You don't have to just believe me, standing up on stage telling you these things, but we have one really awesome customer, Paychex. And they wanted a digital platform that made their developer experience simpler, that put marketers in control, and that allowed them to accelerate their speed to market. It's a really awesome success story, and I'm very delighted to welcome Erica Bizzari to the stage. Erica, great to have you. Awesome. Well, to kick it off, maybe tell me a little bit about Paychex and then, your role at Paychex.
Yeah, so first of all, thank you for having me. I'm honored
Welcome.
to be here to represent Paychex and the incredible team behind the project. For those of you who don't know, everyone probably knows Wendy's and NBC, but Paychex is a leading provider of payroll, HR, and benefits. We pay about 1 in 12 American workers, so probably a lot of people in this room. I've been with the company for about 6.5 years. I started as an SEO, and I'm now responsible for the overall performance and strategy of the website.
Yeah, very good. I imagine for a company like Paychex, a B2B company, imagine that your website is really critical to your business in terms of like generating leads. Tell me a little bit more, or tell us a little bit more about sort of the business challenges that you were trying to solve by moving to another platform.
Yeah, so as a B2B company, our website is one of the most important assets. It is a primary driver of inbound leads. And digital is extremely important to us, as I'm sure it is for most of you, but it wasn't always the case. At the time when we had conversations starting about wanting to migrate our CMS platform, and at the time we were also going to do a complete website redesign, overhaul the information architecture, our senior leadership team came to us and they had expectations of driving digital growth. So balancing all of that at once and being expected to drive unprecedented growth, it made for quite the challenge. And that put so much pressure on us to make sure that we chose the right solution and the right technology to kind of deliver on that expectation.
Wow, yeah. So obviously a lot of pressure, kind of a big deal to re-platform your main site. So how did you go through the evaluation process, and why did you end up saying, well, Acquia is the best solution for us?
Yeah, so the vendor selection process was pretty intense. We had a long list of requirements from a dev and selfishly from an SEO standpoint. Most people think that SEO is just about optimizing for keywords, but a site's infrastructure is very critical to success. And I think that we were a little obsessed. We had asked to speak to Acquia's SEO team and a couple of other B2B SEO teams as well. But really, we were trying to hit on a few things. We knew that we needed a cloud-based solution. Mm-hmm. Our developers really needed control and autonomy in order to execute all the things that we were looking to do. And coming off of our old CMS, we really needed a simple, user-friendly tool because we were all learning it as we implemented and built the site on it. So that was extremely important to us. And one of my favorite things about the whole project is we had a lot of data that got us to the point of building out the architecture and the design. But since there was no room for error, yeah, we needed some good quantitative data to make sure that when we launched the site that we weren't going to, at the bare minimum, lose any conversion or engagement. So that we ended up doing a gradual phased rollout of the site, which required us at really the 11th hour to spin up a subdomain, copy the new site that would allow us to test the old versus the new, and that was pretty incredible. We would have never been able to do that in our previous instance. So
it's very impressive. Obviously, very impressive results in a relatively quick time as well. How is your team sort of measuring success? I mean, when you do something like that in SEO and all of these things that can't really go backwards, right? So how do you measure success as an organization?
Yeah, so at the end of the day, we're really held accountable for driving leads off the website, and we did that. We're still making sure that we're executing on that. We've been growing and iterating and optimizing since. I also measure success by the happiness of the team. Yeah. They are no longer frustrated with our current environment. I was making changes to the site this morning. I think that goes to show how simple it really is. We've also been able to successfully migrate 4 of our subdomains and 4 of our subsidiary sites in the last year. So at this point, success for us really just looks like heads down on the site, focusing on making it all that it can be. And we now have, I think, the tools and all of the resources we need to do that, thanks to Acquia and you guys. So.
Very incredible. Awesome story. Well, thank you, Erica,
Thank you.
for joining us on stage and sharing your story.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Such a great story, and in such a relatively short time. Like, they've moved all of these sites over, and I think it's pretty cool. It's actually simplifying the development experience, simplifying the marketing experience. It's something that we have been investing in, very heavily this year, and we'll continue to invest in that. And so, to tell you a little bit more about what exactly we've done and where we're going, I would like to welcome Jeff Beeman. He's our Director of Product for Acquia Lightning to the stage. Please welcome Jeff.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks, Dries, and thanks, Erica. Your story is incredible. As you heard from Erica, time to market was absolutely critical for Paychex. They were able to launch a site into production in under 4 months. And that wasn't just launching the site, that was conceptualizing it, doing content strategy, development, and migration. And they totally blew away their original goal of 12 months when they did that. To get there, they needed a simple workflow and powerful tools to help them do it. We provide a lot of tools at Acquia, but I'm really excited today to spend some time talking to you about Acquia Lightning. So let's jump in. So the site I'm going to show you is a fictional B2B site that we built in just a couple of days. We were able to do it because of Lightning, and we built it on top of Drupal's great out-of-the-box demo. And we also used our developer tools that we provide at Acquia, like pipelines, CDEs, and Dev Desktop to do it. We also had a really great and healthy dose of creativity from our amazing marketing team to help us do it, too. So I'm going to show you some of the features we've shipped this year in Acquia Lightning, and also show you an early preview of page building and where we're headed with it. So let's get started with the moderation dashboard, though. When I log in, I'm presented with this beautiful, customizable dashboard. This dashboard shows me lists of content that need review, drafts I'm working on, and other recent activity on the site. And then on the dashboard, I see there's a press release that needs my review, so I go check it out. It all looks good, and so I'm going to use the new Tasks button up in the top right of the toolbar there, and it opens up our moderation sidebar. From the moderation sidebar, I click Publish, and I can see from the toolbar that the content's published. And I did all of this without ever leaving the front page of my site. These are really great simplifying experiences where we really improve the UX for authors and editors with Lightning, and both are available in Lightning today. So back on the dashboard, I saw an article that needed my review. So this article needs to go live while I'm here at Engage, and I'll be in the middle of a session. It's going to be on Friday. It's my Lightning session. This article needs to go live in the middle of that session, and I won't be able to get to a computer. So the Lightning you download today has the capability you're seeing right now to schedule future workflow state changes, all from the content editing form. This is available today in Acquia Lightning. Finally, I want to talk about the future of landing pages. This is the part I'm really, really excited about. We know that page layouts take time, and we've been working really hard to make it simpler and faster to build beautiful landing pages. So what you're seeing here is me using our next generation landing page capabilities. Right now, I'm quickly adding a banner to the page by referencing an existing block. I can see it looks great because of our real-time preview as I build the page. And then I add a new section to the page. This one's a 2-column section, and I use it to reference a couple of articles on the site. And as I add the articles to the site, you'll see me then use drag and drop to rearrange the articles on the page. And I can do this with any element that's in the page layout. I can drag between sections and things like that. It's really awesome. Then finally, I added a new section, and I added a map. And just a few clicks and keystrokes, I've got a map. And the Google Maps block is an example of how we're trying to provide out-of-the-box page-building components with Lightning so that you can get up and running and build and launch sites faster. And then finally, you saw me save the page and publish it using the same moderation sidebar that you saw earlier. Doesn't that page look great? And I built it in just a couple minutes. So what I just showed you today is just a small sample of the stuff we've been working on with Lightning and Drupal this year. You saw the new moderation dashboard, a streamlined publishing process with our new moderation sidebar, the ability to easily schedule publication of your content, and a simple, powerful layout builder. Like I said, this is just a small collection of what we've done in 2018, and the new layout experience will be GA early next year. Everything else you saw today is available today. All of this is possible because we built Lightning on an incredible Drupal 8 foundation, and we use the best tools that we can find in the community to extend Lightning's capabilities and provide more value with it. We'd love to talk to you more about Lightning, Drupal, and all of our developer tools here at Engage, so come find us at the demo booths later. Thanks.
Awesome. Very, very cool. I'm very excited to see these things finally come to life. We've been working on them for, some of these things actually for over 18 months. And so to see that it's launched or being launched shortly is really exciting. And it's frankly something that all of you have told us repeatedly. You've told us, like, please make it simpler. Make Drupal, make Lightning easier to use. And so we're doing it, and that should be very, very exciting for all of you. All right, so that was simplicity. Next, I'd like to move and talk a little bit more about scalability, which is something that we have been working on for a long time as well. It's really part of the core of our DNA as a technology company. So let's talk about how customers scale with Acquia. And so for me, I think, because we've been doing this so long, it's really something that is unique to what we do. I think we're the only platform, the only technology platform that allows customers to scale from small to large, from one to many, and also provide scalability in the delivery model. So from coupled to decoupled. To the best of my knowledge, there is no other platform in the market that allows you to do all of these things in any combination that you want from a single place. And so I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in this session. So first, we'll talk a little bit about small to large. Obviously, some of our customers have small sites. Other customers have very large sites. You'll hear from NBC Sports in a moment. They have hyper large sites, largest sites in the world, large, and all of that can run on our platform. And that's unique because you wouldn't use some of our proprietary competitors to run a small site. That doesn't make economic sense, right? You would only use them for larger sites. And so the fact that you can run both small and very large websites on our platform, it actually means you can truly standardize on a single platform in a way that you cannot with our competitors. So I think it's a huge advantage to what we have to offer. Secondly, there is one too many. So you can either run one site, and we have a lot of customers that have just one site. Maybe it's a super large site, maybe it's not even a very large site, but we also have a lot of customers that run many sites on our platform. I'm thinking of organizations like Nestle, or Conagra Brands, or Johnson & Johnson, or Pfizer, Charles Schwab. All of them actually are in the room today. A lot of them manage hundreds of websites on our platform, and we provide special tooling to help you manage that many sites. It's a very different problem, if you will, from managing a single site, right? And so you need the tools to do both. Very powerful differentiator as well for us in the market. And then lastly, I want to talk a little bit about coupled and decoupled. It's a different kind of scalability, if you will. basically means you have the flexibility, in those different delivery architectures. And that could be a traditional architecture, like, a normal site that generates HTML for you, or it could be a decoupled architecture. And more organizations, it's a kind of a powerful trend that we see, are moving beyond just having a website. They want to have a website, but they also want to have a mobile app. They also want to have integrations with conversational UIs, you name it. And to do so, you want a decoupled or a headless platform. And it's something that we've been investing in for many years, actually. And I truly believe we are a leader in decoupled architectures. And so with a decoupled architecture, if you're not familiar, what it allows you to do is really push content to any kind of front-end technology, right? And then you can have that front-end technology worry about the presentation of the content. One of my favorite examples, and Mike actually mentioned them already, is the MTA in New York, the train station, subway station in New York. So they equipped all of their trains with little sensors. The trains send data to a Drupal backend, and then the Drupal backend pushes, schedule information about all of the trains to over 400 different, train stations in New York City. Pretty powerful example of how you can use Drupal in a decoupled way. Another great example is a customer called Powder. So they actually have a more normal website, if you will, versus a digital kiosk. But they use Drupal 8 in the backend and AngularJS, a JavaScript framework, in the front end. That's obviously something that's gaining a lot of popularity, and people have used Drupal 8 and Lightning with React and Angular and Vue and Ember.js. Basically, you can use whatever JavaScript framework you want and bring it onto our platform. So a lot of organizations do that because it allows them to sort of build more application-like, more interactive websites and experiences on the web. So very cool. And so, as I said, we can also offer that on Acquia Cloud. And then this one is interesting. So we announced these new partnerships with ElasticPad and BigCommerce, and it's also an example of our flexibility and scalability of the platform. But what's interesting about this one is that Drupal, or Lightning, is actually the head instead of the backend. It's kind of funny to think about it that way, because what these platforms offer is a commerce as a service backend. And you use Drupal to create the experience layer on top of these platforms. And so we're very excited about these partnerships, and we hope to see a lot more Drupal and commerce integrations. All right, so whether you're scaling from one site to many sites, or thousands of sites, whether you have a very small site or a very large website, whether you use coupled or decoupled, as I mentioned, you can do all of that from a single platform, the Acquia platform, and mix and match it however you want. And to give you a really good example of that, I want to bring a customer on stage. NBC Sports, they manage dozens of websites on our platform. Some of them are very large websites too. And to tell you the story of NBC Sports, I'd like to welcome Eric Black onto the stage. Please welcome Eric. Welcome back to the stage.
Thank you for having us. It's our
Yeah.
third Engage. We're excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, maybe to start it off, I think it would be good to maybe tell us a little bit about NBC Sports and your role and what you guys are doing.
Sure. Eric Black, I'm CTO for NBC Sports Group. So NBC Sports, I think most people think of us as NFL, as the Olympics, but we're actually quite a bit more than that. We're 6 regional networks throughout the country. We're Golf Channel. We're Olympic Channel in the United States, which is a cable channel that you might have at home. But we're also some other things as well. We're Playmaker Media, which we'll talk about a little bit, which is white label solutions for video streaming services on IP platforms. But really, when you look at our team and what my group does, led by Stephen Hildebrand, is we are powering the largest internet experiences possible for end users, which I think most of you have probably experienced, and then making sure that that infrastructure scales to some of the smallest events that we do. I think what people don't know, Dries, is that we do over 30,000 events every year on our digital
It's a crazy
platforms.
number.
Oh, it's insane. But we really look at the Super Bowl and we look at the Olympics, but what we really want to talk a little bit more about is how we're leveraging Drupal and our other technology partners to do all the other 29,900 things that we do every day.
Yeah, I think we have a video.
Yeah, it'd probably be, instead of kind of talking to it, maybe we just, maybe we
Play the
show
video.
them.
Yeah, awesome. Let's do it.
2018 is stacking up to be Playmaker's best year ever, anchored by 3 of the world's biggest events. The 2018 Super Bowl delivered a peak of 3.1 million concurrent streams and 633 million minutes of video consumed, making it the most streamed domestic sporting event of all time. 4 days later, Playmaker embarked on the Olympic Winter Games in Pyeongchang with more than 2,000 hours of live coverage. The digital audience was groundbreaking, with more than 1 billion minutes watched on connected television alone and 1.86 billion minutes of live video consumed across 10 platforms, more than all previous Winter Olympics combined. And the breakout hit of the year, Playmaker's streaming of the FIFA World Cup for Telemundo demolished records for Spanish language coverage. Streaming of all 64 matches totaled 1.96 billion live minutes, surpassing even the Winter Olympics in U.S. live digital viewing. Together, the Super Bowl, Winter Olympics, and World Cup combined for an astounding 4.37 billion minutes of video consumed, equal to 8,314 years of live viewing. That's Playmaker Media.
Kind of crazy. Like, yeah. These numbers kind of give me goosebumps.
Me too. I think it's made my team pretty tired this year for sure.
Yeah, you guys had another record year.
Yeah.
So 30,000 events. We saw some of the largest one on the screen. So why is Acquia the right partner for you guys?
Well, we've been together a long time. Going back, and I'm going to date myself a little bit here, but going back to the London Olympics, we were on a proprietary system and a proprietary content management platform, and we had scale problems. And we knew that we needed to go and look and market for an open source solution, something that could scale not just to Olympic level proportions, but something that could actually operate on a day-to-day basis for Notre Dame college hockey or regional New York Mets game. That's something that we really needed for cost continuity within our business, and that's what brought us together and ultimately grew this relationship.
Right. So there's a scale in terms of like number of page views or number of videos, but maybe talk a little bit more about sort of the scale of the content production, which is kind of a different kind of scale. Right?
There's lots of types of scale within our business, and it's one of the unique ones because you look at content production, you look at user behavior, it's really actually all focused around an event, and we're an events-based business. So when we look at these systems at 3 in the morning, we may not have a whole lot going on a given night. Now it may be the Pyeongchang Olympics in February, and there may be a whole lot going on at a given night. So when we look at scale, it's not just scale of you're going from 0 users, either from an editorial perspective on how much content we're entering, how much video is being displayed on the platform, to how many consumers are coming. Because we literally do, if you think of kind of our torture test of an event, Kentucky Derby is probably the best one. It's 2.5 minutes long. 30 minutes prior to the event, you have 0 users. Then you have 1 million plus users, all within a matter of 5 minutes. That's not even enough when you look at cloud architecture. That's not even enough to do auto scaling. So when we look at just content production, publishers, users, it's all based around an event, and we do have hyperscale in that sense.
Well, that's amazing, and we're going to talk more about this the afternoon when we have you back on stage again. But maybe one more question, to wrap up this session. So you mentioned you've been doing the Olympics for a while, and yet initially had scalability issues, but what are some of the other things you've learned, I guess, in between these large events or the Olympics, and how have you tweaked or adjusted your strategy? Is that something you can share?
Yeah, it's continuous evolution. I think the way our business used to be operated, going back all the way to the Beijing Olympics, was we had one division that was focused on the Olympics and one that was focused on sports, which really was NFL. And what we've done now is taken all of our sports and then some and added them to the platform So we are a 365-day shop. Really, when you get into the Olympics, whether it's Pyeongchang or now looking forward to Tokyo, it's around what are we evolving on that platform between now and then. Tokyo doesn't start in August of 2020. It started the day after Pyeongchang ended in February, and what we evolve in the technology stack, starting now and going to then, is ultimately going to be critical to the success of that event.
Right. I have one more question. I can keep asking you a question, and we're going to keep asking questions later today. But as a CTO of NBC Sports, and being responsible for all of the production, what are some of your success criteria? Like, how do you measure success for a platform like this?
It's tricky. I mean, there's a lot of success criteria, especially around these very large-scale events. When you look at the Olympics, or we talk about the World Cup on Telemundo, I think really the biggest metric of success to us is that no one, whether it was on Twitter, or within the industry, or in the trades, was talking about a technology failure. And I think we've all read those articles on, there was an outage on XYZ site. That's not something that you ever want to have discussed. So having smart disaster recovery planning, rehearsing those scenarios, understanding where you're going to go with your stack, should something go wrong, and things do go wrong. That's normal, and we need to plan for technology that does in fact fail, and what does a degraded state of that look like. So at the end of the day, nobody should be talking about, I wasn't able to access this piece of content, no matter what the type of content is, whether it's the Olympics or whether it's your paycheck. I frankly would be more interested in making sure I could get to my paycheck than I would the Olympics personally. But
a lot of people heading their heads.
Yeah, everyone's looking at their paycheck right now. But no, in all honesty, it's around looking at redundant platforms, and I think that's where we've partnered really well together, which is not just how is primary supposed to work, but how is backup supposed to work as well.
Right, awesome. Well, it's a fantastic story. We're very proud to have you as a customer.
Great.
And of the shared success. So looking forward to have you back on stage. So
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Awesome. Alrighty, what a great story. And so as I said, we'll have Eric back on stage, later today. Scalability, performance, these are things that we have invested in for a long time and we continue to invest in. And to tell you more about that, I'd like to invite Beth Linker, who is our Director of Product for Acquia Cloud, to the stage. Please welcome Beth.
Thank you, Dries. Thank you, Eric. I'm excited to be here with all of you today. So we know that not every organization gets to entertain 100 million viewers around the world, but every business does, in a sense, have its own World Cup, whether it's Black Friday, Mother's Day, graduation, a new product launch, or breaking news. Your digital presence really has to be up to the challenge. And that's why we've developed tools and services that you can't find on any other platform to help you optimize efficiency and execute with flexibility at any scale. Just like NBC Sports, you need complete visibility into your digital experience and site performance to make sure that you're always ready for whatever comes at you. So what you don't see in the highlight reel is the weeks or months of planning and preparation that go into flawlessly executing on a big day, just like Eric was talking about. Let's take a look behind the scenes now at a retailer getting ready for Black Friday, which is just around the corner. I want to talk about two of the more technical features of the Acquia Cloud platform. Anybody here use our Stack Metrics? So this is Acquia Cloud Stack Metrics. It helps you visualize the health and performance of a site. There's really no substitute for being able to see what's going on, so you can take stock of the situation and decide where to focus your development efforts, especially if you're on a deadline. The great thing about Stack Metrics is that you can easily jump from real-time views to 6-month views and anything in between. All right, so I'm going to show you how we use Stack Metrics to get a close-up look at application performance. We need to make sure that things are running smoothly at every layer of the application. Starting at the top, we're going to take a look at cache performance. Good caching is absolutely essential for frequently viewed traffic, content, and high-traffic web applications. With Stack Metrics, we can see what % of requests are served by the cache. The higher that number that is, the faster the site is going to be. This is looking pretty good. So we're going to move down and take a look at the CPU and memory usage in the Drupal application itself. I want to understand if there are any spikes happening, make sure that there's plenty of headroom so that we don't max anything out when traffic is high. This is also a good time to take a look at the impact of background jobs that might be processing content, make sure that they're running smoothly too. And then finally, we'll take a look at the database and make sure that there aren't too many slow queries, because slow database queries can bring everything to a halt. Overall, things are looking pretty good here, but I did see a few things that merit a closer look, so I'm going to show you how we can switch over and take a look at the logs. So Stack Metrics gave you the overview of everything that's happening in the system. In contrast, log streaming lets you get really specific and look at the individual events that are happening behind the scenes when visitors are interacting with the site. So what you're seeing here is how we can search and filter, zero in on specific events to help solve problems and understand how the site is responding. Even better, can download and install the exclusive Acquia log streaming plugin for Chrome. And this is great for developers because with the plugin, you can be testing pages on the site, and you can see the logs from your interactions right there in your browser. You don't even need to switch windows. And this is great when you're working on new features or trying to troubleshoot, because you're seeing your actions reflected on the server. It takes a lot of friction out of the site development process. We're continually working to expand what you can do with the platform. We just introduced Acquia Cloud Edge Workers, powered by Cloudflare, which takes optimizing application performance to a new level. Workers is a serverless JavaScript environment that runs at the edge and lets you modify HTTP requests and responses on the fly without going all the way back to the origin. By executing this at the edge, we're making it easier to write, deploy, test, and iterate logic quickly. What do you think, Dries?
Pretty cool, but what can you actually do with it?
Great question. Cloud Edge Workers supports many use cases, including rewriting requests for better caching, integrating web APIs, and custom routing based on geolocation. So let's talk about how it works. Here you've got a typical request being served by Acquia Cloud Edge. With Workers, you use serverless JavaScript to implement your business logic so that it's very developer-friendly. Even better, the code runs at edge locations all over the world, geographically close to the end user to keep things as fast and responsive as possible. Historically, these have been some of the hardest changes to develop, test, and deploy on the platform. You had to jump through a lot of hoops to get a reliable test and make sure you wouldn't bring the whole site down when you rolled out changes to production. I'm going to show you a quick example here so that you can see just how easy it is with Workers. This is so easy, even a product manager like me can do it. So you may know that Dries has a blog on the Acquia Cloud platform. He recently blogged about adding dark mode to his blog. And we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to do it with Workers. So what you see here is a test console. On the left, you can see the JavaScript code that's going to change the background color to black. We're going to click Update. You can see the results on the right, and then down at the bottom, you can see all of the details of the requests that are going back and forth, interacting with the workers. So you can see how easy it is to test before you deploy. There are a lot of great use cases for Edge Workers, performance optimization, to security, to custom routing. So what you just saw was the power of Stack Metrics to show you everything that's happening on the platform. Log streaming for those extreme close-ups, and the brand new Acquia Cloud Edge Workers to unleash all kinds of possibilities. Love to talk to you about all of these at the demo booth later today. Thank you, Dries.
Awesome, thank you. Woo. So Beth, she showed you some of the ways in which the Acquia platform can allow you to execute at very large scale. Obviously, there's more bells and whistles that we didn't show in this demo, but pretty powerful stuff. All right, so that was scalability. Next, I want to talk a little bit about intelligence, or how we make things smarter. And so I want to tell a short story, sort of a real-life story. So I'm sure a lot of you can think of like maybe your favorite coffee shop or your favorite store, and the moment you walk into that store, they say, "Hey, welcome back. would you like the usual, you know? And you say, yes, please. And it's like this great experience, like when the people know you there and they just kind of do what you're gonna ask them to do, and do it before you ask them to do it. And for me personally, for better or worse, that's with my barber. So when I moved to the United States, I moved to Winchester, Massachusetts, I got my haircut in town, and I built this relationship with my barber. And so now, after multiple trips when I go, I just walk in, I seat myself, and he just starts getting my hair. Doesn't ask me any questions about how I want my haircut. And it's actually a wonderful experience. It's actually great. And so it's actually such a good experience that now I moved out of Winchester to a town. I still make the drive to this one barber to get my haircut, right? And so I'm sure all of you have something like that. But the question here is, how do we transfer those experiences to the web, right? There's a huge opportunity here because most websites don't create that kind of experience with any of their customers. And I think the opportunities to do that, it's how you create loyal customers and great brand fans. And so let's imagine you're a student or a parent of a student and you're visiting a college and you're on the campus and you pull up your phone. Guess what? Wouldn't it be useful if they showed you a map of the campus? Because most likely you're kind of lost trying to figure out where to go to. Or let's say you bought a product on an e-commerce website. The product was delivered, you're opening up the box and starting to put it together. And when you go to that website, guess what? They're trying to sell you another one of those. Chances are you're looking for either instructions on how to assemble it, or you're looking for a manual on how to use it. And so a great customer experience on the web would be that, like where they're smart enough to deliver you the right experience at the right time, right? So the question is, how do you do that? The good news is that technology is available today. The first thing you need to do is you need to know your user, right? You need to know what the user wants to do and the context of the user. And unfortunately, we have a product called Acquia Profile Manager that allows you to do just that. It allows you to learn based on behavior what the user actually wants. And you can integrate it with third parties to even get a better understanding of what the user wants to do. And so then obviously once you know about your users, you can start to match those users with the right content or the right experience, right? And you can start doing, like you can implement this function, get best next experience. And the two inputs are content and user profile information. And so fortunately for us, we saw this years ago and we started building a product called Acquia Lift. It's our flagship product in the Marketing Hub. And it allows you to do exactly that, right? It allows you to personalize or contextualize those experiences. And what we've seen is that there is a growing need for this product. In fact, just in the last year, the adoption of Acquia Lift doubled, not just in revenue, but also in usage, in number of subscriptions that we sold. This product is really taking off like a rocket. And so I really truly believe that today, Acquia offers the best personalization solution in our history. And so next, what I'd like to do is I'd like to show you one of these stories, with a customer that has over 30 million customers. And so please join me to the stage, Mike Mancuso from Wendy's, and we'll talk a little bit about what Wendy's is doing with Acquia Lift.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Please take a seat.
Thank you.
Awesome. I'll ask you the same question. Tell me a little bit more about, I think everybody knows Wendy's, but tell me a little bit more about, you and I guess Wendy's digital part of the business.
Absolutely. What I do can be distilled down to selling fresh, never frozen hamburgers online. And I get to wear two hats at Wendy's to do that. My first hat is as the head of our digital analytics group. I get to work with folks who share my innate curiosity for understanding who our digital customers are, and more important, why they engage with us the way they do. Now, my second hat is that of the product owner for Wendy's.com, which gives me a front row seat to work with our designers, developers, partners at VML, Y&R, and brand teams to not only apply lessons learned, but through tools like Lift to learn entirely new lessons that continuously evolve and improve the way that we reach our customers. It's one of the reasons why I was very excited to talk to you about personalization. For us, this has been a major facet in our success and has been and continues to be a very strategic part of our digital roadmap.
So, Wendy's has to always engage customers online, and Mike mentioned your, world famous Twitter strategy. Tell us a little bit more about sort of digital and how you do that. How do you engage customers? How do you get them to go to the restaurants and buy more burgers and, sandwiches and stuff?
With Wendy's, fun fact, a tenth of the US population visits our website every year. And by the time we finish at our celebration tonight, I'll have sold a little over 1.5 million orders today. It's a tremendous amount of data that comes through our channels. So much so that in almost every facet of our analytics practice, we index with the population. So being able to really dive in and understand who our customers are requires a broad spectrum of how we communicate and get folks engaged with our brand. Our social team, I think their work speaks for itself. Twitter, just what we did with Nugs for Carter last year, I think generated roughly 3 billion media impressions. The mixtape that we dropped earlier this year, not only did it make it to the top of the charts on Spotify, Apple Music, and Google, but we ranked on Billboard for a Wendy's, in essence, diss track against McDonald's. So it was a lot of fun. But it's important for us to extend our brand voice and our personality through every channel. And when we look at our website, knowing that we're getting a tenth of the population, it's a fantastic opportunity to personalize it. Now, rather than jumping into the abstract, I'd love to take you guys through a real example of how we do this and kind of our ethos behind it.
There you go.
I can't think of a better way to do this than introducing you to my wife. So this is Caroline. As you can tell, we both may be fans of the brand. This was from our wedding. And while on paper, in every persona we would have ever created, generally, Caroline fits our salad demographic, how we used to look at it. What's funny, though, is that couldn't be farther from the truth. When we first started dating, I remember thinking, all right, I've got to show her I can cook. This is going to be a good experience. I grilled some burgers, and I made the egregious mistake of putting lettuce and tomato on her burger. She looked at me with pure disdain and said, "How dare you put my food's food in my food? No, thank you." Baconator couldn't have found a more loyal fan. So knowing that she's a Baconator customer, why would I ever show her a salad image? Our most craveable salad. Every facet of photography, wording, media placement is going to fall flat with her every time. So with Caroline, I know when she comes to our properties, I should very loudly and proudly show the Baconator. As she goes through our sales process, I may see that she hasn't tried our Baconator fries yet, so it's a good opportunity to suggestively sell it to promote menu exploration. And on the tail end of that, we have a wonderful opportunity to say, hey, you know what goes good with bacon? Chocolate. Why don't you try one of our chocolate chip cookies? So then we had to look at householding and how we look at customers by household. And it's another example of where tools like Lift give us an opportunity to do what was never possible before. Because then you have me. I am aspirationally healthy. And in that, you'll find the taco salad is my go-to almost every time. You can probably get me to try one of our green teas, and I will feel so good about my healthy decision that I'm going to treat myself to a Frosty. Being able to create this personal relationship is what Wendy's was built on. If you go back to when Dave Thomas first started our company, it was on the premise of putting quality at the center of everything we do and building very strong relationships with our customers. When you go into a restaurant today where you feel at home, where you feel comfortable, typically you know the servers know you. They know what you like. In fact, some of my favorite memories have been going in and it feels like family. They'll tell me that I need to try the special instead of my usual. This is the first time our brands had the ability to replicate that feeling and that sense of home for our users across digital. And we couldn't be happier with the results.
Well, it's a great story and funny too. You actually had me with your opening statement, your fun fact. I didn't realize like 1 out of 10 Americans visits Wendy's.com. I mean, it's just mind-blowing to me. Let me ask you a question. So how long have you been using Lyft to do this? When did you get started?
So this is the wild part of the story. We became Acquia customers at the beginning of the year. We replatformed our old site, migrated all content, went live in 88 days. Within 3 months, we had personalization live on the site. So our ability to hit the ground running was incredibly powerful for our brand. We started very small, and that was with, let's do some A/B testing, see how our creative's performing, and if our call to actions can be just a little more effective. It moved into us releasing new products and new test products in markets where traditionally we had to rely on signage in the stores to move product. Well, now I can carve out our DMAs perfectly and introduce those products to folks through digital channels. And we've even gotten into behavioral segmentation, which is the example you saw with my wife.
What kind of business results have you seen so far?
Oh, it's been great. So the volume of customers we have coming through our channels gives us the ability, in many cases, to start an experiment in the morning, and by the evening, I have a statistically significant sample of users. So as we continue to iterate and improve, almost across all facets of digital, we've seen improvements on our website, whether it's engagement, conversions, retention. It's been a Cinderella story.
Awesome. I love your story. Thanks for joining us on stage. And yeah, we'll keep talking about Wendy's for the rest of this presentation, actually.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. That was Wendy's. We're going to try and show you how Wendy's is doing this. And to do so, I'd like to invite Eric Fullerton to the stage. Eric is our product marketing manager for Acquia Lyft. So please, welcome Eric to the stage.
Thanks, Dries. What a fantastic story from Mike and the Wendy's team about how they're leveraging Acquia Lyft to deliver engaging experiences to their users. We've learned a lot about personalization as a practice and as a technology from working with customers like Wendy's. And one of the things we've learned is that, our customers are looking for a product that's easier to use. They want a solution that's marketer ready. And that's why I'm incredibly excited that I have the opportunity to both announce and preview Acquia Lyft V4, available Q1 for the first time ever. And I'm even more excited that I get to do it from Wendy's point of view. All right, so I want to be really clear. This is not a UI or this is not a set of new features, right? We went back to the drawing board and fundamentally rethought what it meant for our customers to deliver personalized experiences. And what we came up with is a simplified campaign structure and essentially the ability to marketers to create personalizations with no developer resources. And it's so easy that we're going to create a campaign together in real time. Now, we just heard from Mike about the difference between he and his wife's taste, right? He's a salad guy, and she loves the Baconator. Now, since I have Dries on stage with me, I get to have a little bit of fun. And I'll create a new segment for French fry lovers, right? We know Dries is from Belgium, and Belgium is very famous for their French fries. So let's create a segment for French fry lovers.
We actually invented the French fries. Or should they called Belgian fries?
I stand corrected.
Saying.
I stand corrected. Belgium invented French fries. So in an ode to Dries, to Belgium, and to innovation, let's create a segment for French fries. So when you first log in, you can immediately see what's changed. There's a brand new dashboard for Lyft. Here's, this is the homepage, right, where you explore campaigns, segments, and you can take a look at all of your key metrics. Now, in Lyft V4, you set up campaigns in 3 simple steps, and I'll take you through that in just a second. When we actually create our campaign, you can see that there's several different types you can build, right? An A/B test, a targeted personalization, a content recommendation, or a mixed campaign. Now that's any combination of those 3. Since I know I'm targeting Dries, a French fry lover, with French fry content, I'm gonna go ahead and select a targeted personalization to deliver to Dries. All right, so step 1, here's where I put in all my campaign information, name, description, website, stuff like that. But what I really want to call attention to is where you identify your success metric, right? And this is where we're going to evaluate whether or not our personalization was successful, right? We're going to look at this metric consistently. And now, for this one, I'm going to choose click-throughs, right? It's a homepage banner on the website. I also want to pay some specific attention to the scheduling feature. Now, this is really powerful tool for customers who are running multiple personalizations at once, or they're aligning it to promotions, announcements, events, and things like that. Now, what I'm actually doing here is I'm actually launching this from 2 weeks from today. I'm building it now, but I'm actually going to wait and actually launch it in 2 weeks. Okay. So now once I'm done that, I can see that we're looking good and we're in good shape. We're all set. So I'm already on to step 2. Now here's where I'm actually going to configure my personalization. Now obviously French fries is big for Wendy's, right? So this is actually a segment that they've already created. So all I have to do is identify from this dropdown my French fry lover segment, click that, and now I can actually build the personalization. Now Lyft exists as it's a widget on top of a customer's website. So when you go in, you actually see the content. And when you go in to actually edit this, you can select the place you want to personalize and the content you want to choose. Here I can see I have my French fry content. I can go ahead, select that content. Looks pretty good. I like it. And let's save and continue. For targeted personalization, it's especially easy, so we're already ready to go on to our final step. Now here's where we're going to preview and publish our campaign, right? We can look at our details, our goals, our slots. But what I really think is important here is to look at this ability to preview in real time. So when we go and we can see, this is the homepage for all of our different users, right? When they visit the site, this is exactly what they see. But when we go up top here and we select our segment, we can actually see what this homepage is going to look like just for that audience. Now this, to me, this is the power of personalization in real time, right? A totally different experience for different users based on the data that we've collected on them. So all in all, it looks pretty good to me. 3 steps, we're ready to publish. And when we do that, I can see that we've published successfully and 2 weeks from today. Now here, this is our campaign management section, right? This is another new feature. We look at all of our active campaigns. We can make any edits, updates, and changes to them. What I also think is really interesting here, this calendar feature. Now this shows all of your active segments, all of your active personalizations, and we can see here our French fry promotion. When we click on that, we can take a look and evaluate our success metric from earlier in real time, right? So we can evaluate and update consistently the personalizations that we're delivering. Now, what I just showed you is powered by all these new features we see in Acquia Lyft V4. And that means it's easier and more intuitive than it's ever been to deliver engaging experiences to your site visitors. And that means that Mike can see content on salads, his wife can see content on Baconators, and Dries, well, he can see content on Belgium's finest invention, outside of Drupal, the French fry. But I'm not done, right? But when we actually zoom out on that great customer experience Dries just had, it exists over a much larger journey, and this journey takes place across multiple interactions and multiple touch points. We heard from Mike talking about how social is critical to Wendy's, so let's have a little fun with Dries, and let's take him on a holistic customer journey. So let's imagine that Dries, he sees the ad, the personalized homepage ad, and guys, he's hooked. He wants to try these French fries really badly. So he actually goes to his nearest Wendy's. He finds his nearest Wendy's, and he tries these French fries, and Dries loves these French fries. Dries loves these French fries so much that he's actually compelled to tweet at Wendy's and tell them that they are almost as good as the ones that he has back home in Belgium. Now, Journey. Acquia Journey has the ability to listen to channels that you own and channels that you don't, like Twitter. So it can see Dries' tweet, bring that back into his profile, and actually orchestrate and deliver a next best action. Now, for Dries, this is going to be a direct message to him. Let's say, Dries, you ain't seen nothing yet. If you thought those French fries were good, you should try them with a Frosty. Now, Dries he's pretty intrigued, right? Both the fantastic customer experience that he just got, but also French fries and Frosties are pretty delicious. So Dries is gonna go for it. He's gonna click on the coupon, he's gonna order, he's gonna redeem, and just like that, in store, Dries is gonna go and try this storied combination of Frosties and French fries. Now that was a really cool example of a customer journey, but it's not just about French fries, right? We have a hospitality brand who's orchestrating their back-end data and systems to deliver one-click reservations to their customers. We have a digital team who's revamping their loyalty program to increase their average revenue per customer, and an organization who's connecting their call center activity to their digital campaigns for a true omni-channel experience. For organizations who are looking to just optimize the entire journey, not just one experience, they can leverage the powerful technology in Acquia Journey alongside Acquia Lift to connect their MarTech and AdTech touchpoints, to listen to channels they own and channels they don't, and deliver the next best personalized action. We'd love to share more of our Marketing Hub products with you, including Acquia Lift, Acquia Journey, Acquia Dam, and Acquia Commerce Manager. Come check us out at our demo stations. And see Lift V4 in action. Dries, thanks.
Awesome. Very, very nice. Good job. Thank you. Well, I hope you like that. V4 is looking really, really good, and we're excited to have you try it, coming up in early next year. So next, I would like to introduce you to our new SVP of Products, Matt Kaplan. Please welcome Matt, and Matt is going to talk about the roadmap.
So weren't those customer stories great? Yeah, let's hear it for Paychex, NBC Sports, and Wendy's. Come on. These are just some of the many experiences built on Acquia. Now, as many of you know, building great experiences takes a deep understanding of your target user. Same with products. It takes a deep understanding of your target user. We also know that building ambitious experiences like these, well, it takes more than one person. It takes a village to do that with different skills and experiences. So as we thought about how to optimize the journey for you, our customers and users and partners of Acquia, as we thought about how to optimize the journey, we began to think about people. Why? Well, people are the ones that build, manage, and optimize these experiences. Humans, emotional beings with needs and wants and goals and desires. That's what we do. We build software for people. So who are these people? Well, they're developers, designers, builders, who bring this experience to life. Full stack developers, site builders, all of those are we think about as developers. They're operators, people who manage the site, DevOps professionals, IT professionals. They monitor, they scale, they increase performance, they worry about the stuff so that everything can work smoothly without a hitch. And they're marketers who create content, personalize the experience, and worry about the business impact as well. So at Acquia, we invested a lot of time to learn about these people, to understand their problems, and to identify how Acquia can solve them. In fact, we've even reorganized our product team around these three personas, so we can come to work each day worrying about just one type of person. And while there were some unique concerns that we heard from each of these, which I'll talk about in a minute, there was one universal, consistent theme that we heard throughout, and that was the need for freedom. Freedom from the constraints and limitations of proprietary software. Freedom to bring your own tools and technologies, the ones that make you and your team more productive. Freedom to respond quickly to business conditions and market demands without the needs of others without deploying code or servers. Freedom. Freedom from the inefficiencies that get in the way of innovation and progress. That's what we mean by freedom. Now, I know we have a lot of work to do to live up to this, and that's why I'm here. But unlike other companies who force you to choose between developer needs, marketer needs, and operator needs, we don't. At Acquia, everyone wins. Everyone wins at Acquia. And so we're committed to delivering on the promise of freedom without compromise, without constraints, and for everyone, developers, operators, and marketers. And I think all of you are here this week because you believe in that too. That's what you want. Now I'm going to share more about our roadmap and how we're going to deliver on the promise of freedom with even greater simplicity, scalability, and intelligence. So let's start with developers. What we heard from developers is you want a simpler end-to-end development experience from local desktop all the way to the cloud. We heard you want better tools to enable rapid development and faster integrations. We also heard the need for greater flexibility and choice of tools and programming languages. And as Dries mentioned earlier, creating simple tools, simple products is really hard. It's complex. But we aim to do both. So the theme of our roadmap is simplicity without compromising flexibility. And you saw earlier some of the things from Beth about things that we've already done to make it simpler. But we're doing even more. Because in 2019, spring of 2019, we're proud to announce new Acquia Lightning 4.0. This includes a fully redesigned admin experience that's modern. Radically simple page building with drag and drop editing that you saw before. New page building components including media and map support. A developer experience that works with local desktop all the way through the cloud, for continuous integration and delivery, and quick connectors to all of Acquia products so it works right out of the box. We're excited to deliver on the promise of simplicity and flexibility for you. So let's move on to operators. Any operators out there? Yeah, a few operators. Come on, let me hear you. Operators are people too. Come on, let's hear it. We heard that you want to manage sites and applications and not worry about servers or infrastructure. We heard that you wanted greater insights and proactive alerts in the system of your choice. We heard that you want more automation to reduce operating costs. So we've built our roadmap to deliver on effortless scale, security, and performance. Whether you're NBC Sports, worried about the next Olympics, a university worried about class registration day, or a consumer brand needing to update a holiday promotion on every website at once. You want a solution that makes it truly effortless. And you heard earlier how we've done that with tools like StatMetrics and others. But it's getting even better. It's getting even more effortless because in the spring of 2019, we're launching the next generation of Acquia Cloud. We're bringing multi-site features, the best multi-site capabilities of Site Factory to everyone, so you can create and deploy sites with one click. We're enabling seamless auto-scaling capabilities, which means never having to worry about servers or capacity again. We have better isolation and site density, which improves performance. We have expanded cloud APIs, allowing you to integrate to your systems of choice. And single sign-on and federated login to make it more secure for you. We're putting a lot of work into making it effortless for you, and we're excited about the impact that this will have on your business. All right, for the marketers in the room, this is what we heard. You want a simpler experience so you can get started faster. You want less reliance on code and developers. You want simpler ways to integrate with your entire marketing stack and gain insights more quickly. So we built our roadmap for you to make it drop-dead simple so you can just point, click, and personalize. And you heard this from Eric. You saw this before. We've already been investing in this all year, but it's getting even better. Because coming in Q1 is our all-new Acquia Lift 4.0. This includes a brand new, beautifully redesigned user experience. New capabilities like guided step-by-step personalizations, A/B testing and targeting with no code requiring at all, making it completely self-service. improved campaign management and scheduling so you can launch personalizations in your sleep, superior multilingual capabilities, and real-time dashboards for assessing campaign performance just to understand the business impact in real time. We're really excited to launch a simple but powerful marketing tool for everyone, and we can't wait for you to try it out. Now, what I just showed you is just a sneak peek into some of our 2019 plans, and we have a lot more in store for you. You can actually sign up outside in the demo stations for our beta programs on any of these products. As you can see, we're investing equally in supporting the needs of all of our users, solving your most important problems, and delivering the freedom that you expect and deserve. We're very excited by what's coming next, and we hope you are too. I'll turn it back to Dries to wrap us up. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, as Mike said, we almost doubled our R&D capacity this year, which is, it's kind of a big deal. We have to do a lot of hiring, a lot of onboarding. But what's really exciting is that we've really accelerated the pace of innovation, and we have some very big things coming. We're very excited, as Matt said, to allow you to start using these big new launches of our products. In the meantime, though, throughout the whole year, we've been very busy delivering other capabilities. It's not like we only focused on these 3 big new things. So I don't know if you realize, and we can't really show all of these things, but just in the last year, we actually delivered over 50 new capabilities. And all of these capabilities are aligned with the 3 messages that we gave you today: simplicity, greater scalability, and greater intelligence. So very excited about the momentum that we have with those things. All of that is made possible because of the great team that we have at Acquia. And I'd like to personally thank all of our presenters. I'll start with our customers that were on stage today for being part of this. I'd like to thank also our product managers that were on stage. I'd like to thank all of the people that were involved in the product organization and the rest of the company to make this happen. And then last but not least, our partners, because without our partners, we wouldn't be doing the things that we're doing. And of course, without our customers, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing. So thanks for listening. Thanks for giving us feedback. Thanks for making us a better company. Hopefully, you're as excited about the future as we are. All right, thank you.
It's about to get crazy. It's about to go down.